America is not a real democracy. We have corporate oligarchs. They run the show. We stick to fighting ourselves over idiotic, petty shit. We stick to eating each other alive. And the corporate oligarchs keep doing whatever the they want. They keep shafting the everyday guy. This is how it works. It's not even new. It has, however, gotten worse as of late.
Republicans, as everybody know, controls the U.S. Senate, controls the U.S. House, and controls the White House. In other words, they are running the government. But what is happening now, which has never happened before, is they are not sitting down and negotiating. So as of this point, Democrats have had no input into the process at all. Now, what Republicans want is to pass what is called a clean CR. In other words, maintaining the status quo. Here's why that is an awful idea and why all of us are opposed to that. In the last year, as many of you know, under Trump's big, beautiful bill, 15 million people on Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act will be thrown off of health care. Very shortly, you are going to be receiving notices from your insurance companies that your rates, your insurance premiums, are going up by, on average, some more, some less, 75%. Yeah, you heard that correctly, 75%. Now, right now, we have a broken healthcare system. Nobody can afford healthcare. You're ready for a 75% increase in your insurance premium.
Do you think the strategy of right using trans undocumented as a magic spell to justify taking things away from people is generalizable or universalizable to the entire grand strategy of right-wing politics? Yes, because it's not just about trans undocumented. Back in the day, it used to be black people. It still is black people. But now they say trans and undocumented too. But ultimately, that is the only way. That is the only way that the Republicans have been able to successfully demand cuts to social safety nets that every American takes advantage of. It's not a new nor unique position. Lee Atwater basically defined it when talking about the Southern strategy. Bad Biddy 101. Hasan, I'm 21. Am I too young for you? That's crazy. That's a crazy question to ask right now.
You're not, nobody is.
But in Vermont family making $82,000 family afford their
Oh my God, that's what Peter Rush sounds like. That's crazy.
premiums can go up $20,000 a year.
We want to protect access to health care for millions of people across this country. And we're willing to get in the fight for that because we've had it.
The priorities that we have at the table, and they need Democratic votes in order to keep the government open, man, they're pretty reasonable. They're pretty reasonable. What are we asking for? Just don't increase people's premiums by 75%.
Your grocery bills are going up, your utility bills are going up, and your healthcare costs, especially health insurance premiums, are going through the roof.
Who voted to repeal all of these Medicaid and
Ed Mackey. Damn, they got all the progressive senators out here. This is like the Congressional Progressive Caucus, but for the Senate. What the f is Chris Murphy doing there? I guess this is his thing now.
Going up.
That's the new meta for Chris Murphy is he's with it now. I'll take it. I don't care.
Especially health insurance.
all of these Medicaid and Affordable Care Act, Medicare, and NIH.
I do hate that, like, so many of like the OG long-term, somewhat progressive or like left flank politicians in this country are also all 800 years old. Ed Markey is Hamas. It's so crazy. Like, I like Ed Markey, you know, like a lot of these politicians that are in this room, I don't have like a lot of, I mean, I have a lot of disagreements with, but like, it's not undeniable. It's not impossible to contend with. These are probably some of the best senators we have, and they're all incredibly old. Oh my God.
You know, funding Republicans.
We're for a proposal that keeps the government open. But we also don't want to give Donald Trump, a lawless president, a blank check.
Save healthcare and save our republic. Those are our two missions.
I was talking to Austin about this, but he found out that Merkley, Jeff Merkley is, I think, Jeff Merkley is a no APAC Democrat. And Merkley also pushed for a bill titled "A Resolution Calling on the President to Recognize a Demilitarized State of Palestine." Source: New York Times. Was this a story that you covered? What the is going on? What is this? This is just a Google share link. Still protesters though? Yes, they all do. They all do. They're not with it, okay? I know. Jeff Merkley's son is my primary care provider. That's funny. But yeah, he is one of the better Congress members from Oregon.
Peter Jeffries, Speaker Johnson says he's got nothing to negotiate with you over. Will you accept anything less than a permanent extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies?
The legislation that House Democrats and Senate Democrats have introduced together relates to a permanent extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits for working class Americans. Understand, in the Republican One Big Ugly Bill, where they enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history, stole food from the mouths of hungry children, hungry seniors, and hungry veterans. And all of this was done so that they could provide massive tax breaks to their billionaire donors. And you know what? Those massive tax breaks were made permanent. Why in the world should everyday Americans, working class Americans, hardworking American taxpayers accept anything less? I mean, literally this year, House Republicans, Senate Republicans, and Donald Trump enacted massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors, for the wealthy, the well-off, and the well-connected, all to subsidize the lifestyles of the rich and shameless. And this was done permanently, and now they want the American people, not us.
He's right. It's hard to pay attention to his words because he's so sexy, but he's right. We must pay attention to his words. In spite of his sex appeal, stop objectifying Hakeem Jeffries. He is right about every single thing that he said.
Democrats, the American people, to accept anything less than a permanent extension of tax credits that make their health care affordable. Understand this, over the last few days and over the next few days, what you're going to see is more than 20 million Americans experience dramatically increased health care premiums, copays, and deductibles because of the Republican unwillingness to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. They're not even willing to extend it for multiple years, let alone do what Republicans just did for billionaire donors, which is to extend the billionaire tax breaks permanently. Of course, the American people should accept nothing.
Okay, he kind of flubbed it a little bit. I mean, everything he's saying is right though. It's probably not great that the leader of the leader in the House for the Democrats is incapable of putting together a coherent narrative when he is 100% correct. I don't want to on him too much because like I'm supporting him in this endeavor. I'm behind it. You know, AIPAC Shakur or not, whatever people call him, I don't care. On this issue, he's right. It's just explain the message again. It's simple. Republicans are cutting $800 billion in Medicaid because they wanted to make tax cuts for the super wealthy in this country permanent. They are taking money directly out of the pockets of the working poor in this country who struggle to make ends meet, who still have to pay a ton for health care, and they're taking the money from the poor to give it to the wealthy. It's like reverse Robin Hood. And we, the Democrats, must put an end to that. The reality of the matter is they should have been doing this way, way, way ahead of time. They should have done something of this sort to get assurances before the big booty bill. But they didn't. And now we're stuck. Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. Yeah. Instead of, okay, you're saying Robin the Hood, but I can totally see Hakeem Jeffries do that now and be like, Donald Trump, instead of Robin Hood, Donald Trump is Robin the Hood. Stop. We put that out there. We put that out there. It's going to happen. Oh, God. It's going to happen. Oh, God. I'm Brian Kilme. He's going to do that and then like mic drop moment.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Speaker?
Democrats want to not only have health insurance for illegals, but some of your Democrats...
You disgust me. I mean, sometimes we come up with shit this community that is disgusting, but then it literally becomes reality once spoken. Logs, I have a genuine question. Hey man, genuine question. Why did the Dems not go out there in front of cameras and say the president is lying? He's a liar and he lies and he does nothing but lie, and call him a couple of names or something? I feel like the people will respond to that more. No, I mean, I don't know. I guess, yeah. I don't know what the actual answer is. Because, like, it's not a bad question. I guess if the standards are so low now, maybe the Democrats should also shit smear. I personally don't give a shit about the optics of it all, because I think if they were loud and proud about, like, bold policies, about things they actually care about, you know, free healthcare and shit, like, I don't care how they message it beyond that. Like, that would still be more galvanizing. That would still be more effective. People that don't support Trump know he's always lying. People that support Trump will never think he's lying. A Dem, especially Hakeem Jeffries, isn't going to convince Trump voters that Trump is lying to them. Yeah, that's true. Well, why don't you do performative? That's not entirely true. I think you can educate people on how Donald Trump is actually fucking them over. You just have to go to them. A competent Democratic Party right now would be going to Republican houses, okay, finding Republican voters who have been frustrated because they saw their new health care bill, and go to red states, go to rural areas in person, and cut videos and be like, this is Hank Pecker, okay? This is Hank Pecker. He's a real salt of the earth kind of guy, okay? Victim of divorce court. Wants to potentially even assassinate the judge that oversaw the family court case, okay? That's how real of a American salt of the earth kind of guy he is, okay? And Hank Pecker owns an HVAC business. Hank Pecker has to go and purchase healthcare. Hank Pecker, as a industrious HVAC business owner, owned and operated by himself, of course, sees what his healthcare premiums are going to look like next month. He doesn't like that. Now he's just as mad at maybe even the powers that be as he was at the family court judge that him over and made sure his alimony payments were as high as possible, because that's a woke, gay, libtard judge. Okay? Now Hank Pecker's mad. Bernie Sanders comes in, does a video being like, Hank, you mad? Not at the woke, gay, libtarded family court judge that made sure your child support was $5,000 a month. You are mad at the Republican Party for stealing money directly out of your pocket to give it to the billionaire and the millionaire class. You know? Boom. Do that like a million times around the country. Is this the sort of dreams you get? It's very sad, but yeah, I do dream about shit like this. Exactly. Dave Weigel on messaging. Newsom stands out as the Dem who understands the how dare you is much less effective. Trump responds to mockery. Yes and no. Because Newsom does it directionless. Even though he is kind of my goat right now, because he's taking away all the attention from people like myself, so the Republicans aren't going to like prosecute me because they're too busy trying to prosecute Governor Newsom. So he is a little bit of my goat right now. He's kind of my goat. Low key. He's like a magnet for their hatred. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, dude, I see racism in the same way, and I see transphobia in the same way that I see all these other distractions, right? When the Republicans are using it. Obviously, it's a hateful way to live, and when it's reflected as policy, it's incredibly harmful to entire swaths of the population. But its utilization as a tool is distractive. It's the same reason why Republicans right now in this period of instability are focusing on Netflix for having a Coco Melon video that from a show that ended years ago that apparently has like a woke baby in it or something. And that's why Republicans are currently focused on canceling Netflix, because they're stupid. They're talking about Cracker Barrel. They're talking about Netflix because they're stupid. Okay. I can't stress this enough. They are stupid. if you are looking at an unprecedented economic crisis, the likes that Americans have never experienced, I'm talking Great Depression style shit, okay? The likes that Americans haven't experienced in 100 years, and you are predisposed with woke babies on cocoa melon, you're a moron, okay? You are too stupid to operate a vehicle. That's it. And unfortunately, there are millions of people who are that stupid. But even stupid people understand when they're getting over. So it is pertinent on us and the Democratic Party to explain to them that while they are stupid, they're still getting ass by the Republicans. That's the job of good governance. That's the job of good leadership. That's the job that the Democrats are failing on. Okay? That's it. Like, imagine there's a government shutdown that's going on. $800 billion in healthcare funds is going to be taken away. Almost $1 trillion plus dollars taken away from healthcare that these guys desperately need. Okay? And they're talking about canceling their Netflix subscription. I know when you see stuff like that, when you see how hateful little monsters these become, I know it feels like it's impossible. It feels like it's impossible to talk to these monstrous pieces of shit, okay? Because they're so stupid that they're like, nope, I don't care. I'm going to hurt myself and you. You can't say anything about it, woke libtard. I get it, okay? I get it. I get frustrated all the time. I have to deal with these animals all the goddamn time, okay? Having said that, if you care about making people's lives better, you have to convince these people. Okay? Even this guy, George Wallace Lame Similes, says, this idiot poser with his childish rebel politics is going to get himself killed or other people killed while he scams to make a buck on Twitch. Like this did, right? I want this moron to have health care. Okay? I want this old-ass, bald, loser moron to have health care. They only look monstrous because you don't understand them. The world only looks wrong because you don't understand what's really going on. Yes, brother, you have it all figured out, okay? Listen, Unc, listen to me. It doesn't matter what you have heard about me or what you think about me right now. I'm telling you right now, whether you like it or not, I am going to nonstop fight to make sure you have free healthcare. You understand me? Free healthcare for you. It doesn't matter if you hate me. Doesn't matter if you think I have hateful politics. That's my politics. My politics is giving everybody health care. My politics is giving everybody free education. My politics is giving everybody housing, okay? No matter how much you want to kill me in the process, no matter how much you hate me, no matter how much you think I am the one fomenting hatred in this country, that's what I want to do, okay? No matter how stupid you are, no matter how bigoted you are, no matter how hateful you might get, I want you to have more autonomy in your life. I want you to have democracy in your workplace. I want you to have a shelter over your head, and I want you to have free health care. These are things that other governments that have far less money than we do are able to provide to all of their citizens unconditionally, okay? And I want you to be able to have that too. Doesn't matter if you don't want it, okay? I want to deliver it to you in an authoritarian manner. Oh, I don't want it. I'm going to vote against it. I don't care. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. If I have my way, you're going to get it. You're going to get that beautiful free healthcare. You understand? You're going to say, no, I don't want to be able to go get coverage. I don't want to be able to go to a general practitioner with regular frequency so that I can have the decent preventative healthcare so that I don't have like debilitating illnesses down the line. You, I'm going to force it to you. Okay? I'm going to force it down your throat. You understand? That's it. That's my politics. I want to violently make sure that your life is better. Okay? That's it. This is the upside down of class reductive style messaging of channels like Breaking Points. They might be soft on the social issue side of messaging, but they're doing work on the class war messaging the hogs. Yeah. What do you think about the Democrat kitty video? I hated it. Ass.
Over in the Senate are also talking about DEI programs that Democrats want to bring back. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, there's all sorts of.
As a European, I'm very confused as how Americans have been so propagandized against free healthcare. Because what do you mean you love to spend 20% of your paycheck for insurance, but won't bother spending 2% on an extra tax for free healthcare. No, that's what it is. It's because anyone that speaks out on shit like that, people like myself, get ritualistically humiliated every damn day of the week. And they don't do it on the virtue of healthcare because they know they can't advocate on that side. Like, they can't turn around and be like, this guy wants everybody to have free healthcare. What a loser this guy is. They can't say that. So they find anything and everything they can. They find clips out of context. They find it's the same with like even someone who is far less radical than myself, like AOC or even Bernie Sanders. There's tremendous amounts of enmity towards people that want to advance the material conditions of workers in this country. The media is owned by powerful corporations who have a vested interest in ensuring that the same domineering hierarchies continue. And people are kept sedated, and it's a fairly sophisticated way of doing things for conservatives. The conservative agenda for decades has been to weaken government in an abstract sense so that Americans are too fearful to do the things government is good at, like universal programs. It has worked on the boomers a lot and a lot of the Gen Xers. Yes, Ronald Reagan and his consequences as a singular force in this country are so devastating. Ronald Reagan is the liberal FDR. He is the neoliberal FDR. What FDR and his politics did to America and his policies did to America, Ronald Reagan had the exact opposite effect. Now, I'm not like I'm not in the business of saying that people are singularly responsible for the American demise. But if there was one figure that is so pivotal that you could point to, it would be Ronald Reagan. Every single graph that tracks how everything is nosedives in the 90s. Okay, in the end of the 80s, every single graph. Do you think that is an accident? Every graph, dude. Like, you look at cost of living, you look at deregulation, you look at like home ownership rates, virtually every single graph that you can point to about ongoing American demise, the starting point is Ronald Reagan. Like a little bit after, you know, for the policies to take place, the deregulatory economics to take place. Now, of course, it didn't start with Ronald Reagan. It certainly didn't. It's capitalism. It always has been, and it always will be. But Ronald Reagan as a domestic force was so powerful that it basically restructured both parties dramatically. Yes, I know Carter was bad too, chatters. I'm just talking about, like, it's like saying New Deal economics is entirely in the hands of FDR. It's not, right? There were tremendous forces that were pressuring FDR to do the right thing. And there were still limitations. But if you were to reduce it, if you were to make a reductive argument, if you were to reduce it to like a singular force that made the opposing major party damn near concede entirely to full tilt domination, FDR's New Deal era politics dominated American politics for a very long time until Ronald Reagan flipped it. And now Reaganite neoliberalism dominates American politics in the same vein. He's the reason college is so expensive. He's the reason we have conservative think tanks. He's the reason we have trickle down. He's the reason we have the war on drugs. He's the reason AIDS became such an issue. He's the reason why stock buybacks are no longer illegal. All corporate consolidation in this country that was already happening, but like the complete corporate capture and the complete corporate consolidation you have seen comes from the Reagan era. The last breath that the unions had was taken away under the Reagan era. How expensive things are. You're talking about, oh, well, real wage growth happened since the 70s, albeit slightly. Okay. Real wage growth happens in the 70s, albeit slightly. Okay. Well, what about big ticket items that you need? Compare wage growth from the 70s to now, like what your wages look like now, and then compare college education, the price of college education in the 70s to right now. Wages are stagnant since then. Output has skyrocketed due to unimaginable technological achievements. Okay? productivity has skyrocketed. American laborers are insanely productive, like incomprehensibly productive in comparison to how productive they were in the 70s because of automation and all of the wonderful technological achievements that make it so that you can basically work 11 people's jobs as one person now. Not even 11, 100 people's jobs. I mean, think about computers even. You're talking about a time when like computers didn't exist versus a time where computers do exist. And not only a time where computers do exist, but they exist on your hand, in your phone, okay? And they're on you all the time, 24/7. The amount of productivity that each laborer has now is unimaginable, incomprehensible to someone who's living in the 70s. Now, adjust that to the price of everything else. Adjust that to the price of everything else. You could buy a house for like 50 grand in the 70s. There is no home, no single family home you could purchase for like 50 grand, okay? That does not exist. You can't even buy a lot for that price. The only thing that has gotten cheaper as we offshored slave labor to the third world is commodities, cheap consumer goods, things like a television. That's it. The only thing that has actually become incredibly affordable in the time frame is junk that you throw out every 2 years. No, and also it's designed that way too. That's another problem, which is creating tremendous amounts of landfills all over the goddamn planet. But that's it. You can get a TV for cheaper. This is true. You can get a toaster for much cheaper. You can get electronics for like, it's not even a comparison. Like back in the day, a TV was like a big item. Okay. Now you can purchase much cheaper than you ever could. And that makes people feel like the situation is better overall. But all of the things that you need for survival, healthcare, a house, college education for upward social mobility, have exploded in prices. Chart of the day or century, July 23rd, 2022. Price changes, January 20th to June 2022. Select the U.S. consumer goods and services and wages. Yeah, since the 2000s, if you look at new cars that have been like relatively inexpensive in comparison year over year, household furnishings, clothing, basically everything that comes from China, okay? Everything that the Chinese hands have built. And I mean China as like a catch-all term for the entire global south. TV prices, look at that. Ooh, so cheap, so good. What's that up there? Hospital services, college tuition, college textbooks, medical care services, childcare and nursery school. Average hourly wages have gone up. This is because this is the American Enterprise Institute that's like pointing all this. Food and beverage housing, food and beverages and housing. The reason why they're using this chart of the day or century is to say the reason why these things are so costly is because of unions. They're claiming that this is all too costly because of average hourly wages going up. And average hourly wages are going up because of socialism. That's the reason why they're using this graph. Make no fucking mistake. Sidebar, why socialism fails. Yeah, this is socialism. That's why it's failing. My neighbor's big brother in 2007 could afford to live in a single bedroom working at a grocery store as a cashier. Now that seems insane. Things have deteriorated a lot just in the last few decades. Yes, and it's only going to get worse. Is only going to get worse. Trump is literally not addressing any of this shit, and he's making it worse. He's looking at a fire, and the only thing he's got is a canister of gasoline and more matches, okay? He walked up to the house that's on fire, and he said, time to dump this gasoline and light it on fire even further. That's what he's doing. He's like, I'm going to fix this.
Remember, we sent over a 24-page clean CR. They sent over this thing that you'll have to see on my website to believe it yourself. But it's all chock full of all sorts of crazy things that they want to restore. And DEI is always been one.
Oh, DEI,
The reason the boomers did about buying luxuries were expensive, but life was cheap. Now it's been inverted. Our life is expensive, but luxuries are cheap. So I think this is where the disconnect's happening. For example, in 1980, you could rent a great apartment for $200, but a television would run you $1,000. So if you bought 3 TVs, that would be $3,000. A CD player was $500, a cell phone was $2,000, a personal computer was $2,500, and a microwave was $500. That's $8,500. That is 3.5 years rent on luxuries. And $8,500 was also equivalent to a 20% down payment on a $40,000 home. So it was irresponsible if you didn't budget correctly to buy all these luxuries because it could be holding you back. But today it's flipped. Our biggest luxury is our rent for $2,000. We can now buy 3 televisions for $600. We have a Spotify account, cell phone for $1,000. You can get a computer for $500, a microwave for $200. That's about $2,400 a month. So our luxuries is about 1 month's rent, where theirs was 3.5 years rent. And if you want to put this onto a down payment, even if you took the average home of $420,000, let's bring it down to just $320,000. A 20% down payment on that is $64,000. So if you gave up all those luxuries, you would still owe like $61,000. This $2,400 of luxuries wouldn't even cover your closing cost of $10,000 on that home. So the whole thing's been flipped. So I think when they see us with the TVs, the avocado toast, and the cell phone, they think that's the reason we can't move forward. But why we can't move forward is because housing, daycare, college, and healthcare is so expensive, but those are our necessities. These luxuries are just fun little things that we have. The reason the boomers give us
It's the French internet. Why your video is so crisp. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Another big
Anyway, whatever. F that guy. Let's get back to DEI in the bill. Good luck with that in the midterm election. Mike Johnson slams DEMS for pushing woke programs. Yeah, woke programs such as... Sorry, I just saw something on Twitter. Woke programs such as giving the working poor just like little bit of financial freedom in their incredibly costly healthcare. Okay? That's what's woke in DEI. You understand? Peak woke is when you say the working poor should only pay, 10 grand out of pocket for their yearly healthcare coverage as opposed to 30 grand out of pocket. And it's extra woke when they're only making 65 grand a year. That's peak woke. What are you, woke? What are you, DEI, that you want someone who's making 65 grand a year to not pay 30 grand? How is that person going to live, dude? Like, this is what I don't understand. How is that person supposed to live? The example I'm using is a bit exaggerated. The actual numbers is like, what, 85 grand a year? 85 grand a year salary. Guy was paying like, what was it? It's like $100 with all of the $100 a month with all of the additional subsidies that come along with his health care. And now it's going to triple. What the that person's supposed to do? Yeah, Warnock posted an example of someone making $65K who used to pay $300 a month, and it would be $900 a month next year. $900 a month. My mom makes $1,000 in Social Security, pays $280 in supplemental insurance for Medicaid, and $95 a month for the prescription plan for the same supplemental company. That's 4 times what it was a decade ago. The Georgia one was a household with an income of $85,000. Oh, they make more money off us if we get sick and die than preventive care. That's not even totally true either, because it's not. It's instability. It causes too much instability if are dying left and right. If you just have cancer and your ass is like, I can't pay for this treatment, and you just go to work before you perish every damn day. If that keeps happening over and over again, like, that's not a sustainable economy. Why don't you like winning this much? Oh my God, I know. So much winning.
They want to spend $1.5 trillion new dollars of spending is what they're demanding to keep the lights on around here. It's absurd, and they should know it. They're all wrapped around the axle about these woke progressive programs being ended, but that's what the election was about. That woke progressive stuff is what the American people rejected. Some of our Democrat colleagues here are doubling, tripling down on it. Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Oh my God.
We're in day 2 of a government shutdown, and President Trump is threatening mass layoffs of federal workers. For more on all
Yeah, this was the one I was looking at. This dude is a household making 65 grand, okay? Already paying an insane amount. Already paying $307 a month. Now it's triple. Also, those aren't the same plans as what people are saying, which is what my initial curiosity was about this as well. Except this is a worse plan that he's paying more for. It's worse coverage, and he's paying more.
Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson, who's been blaming Democrats for all of it, joins us now to expand on those thoughts and more. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for joining us. My first question is an easy one.
Dude, this is such a universal thing. Ironically enough, like healthcare is such a significant factor in the affordability crisis that even someone as bad as Chuck Schumer has identified it. Because people were literally talking about, like, people were yelling at Chuck Schumer like, oh, well, Mr. Schumer, affordability is the #1 problem for Americans. Healthcare doesn't even, healthcare is not even like the top 10 priorities. And Chuck Schumer correctly pointed out and said on the New York Times interview with Mike Barbaro, he straight up said, healthcare is a major part of the affordability crisis for every American. And he's right. He's right. That's a big part of the affordability crisis, healthcare. What the And what's frustrating to me is, like, people in the media act like they got premium health insurance, man. This is what I don't understand. Like with cops, I get, right? I guess cops have like decent benefits packages, but like if you're in the media, are you that protected? Because you're talking like an alien. Like, you are talking as though you are completely removed from a human being that is suffering because of this. Like, you don't have any immediate family members that you talk to at Thanksgiving or some shit where they're like, hey, I saw you talking to Mike Johnson about healthcare and about how he wants to cut healthcare, and you just let him chirp. What's that about? He's me. He's ass me. Why do you let him get away with this shit? Like, do they not have any immediate family members that are like, dude, hello? Like, maybe you're doing all right with whatever your salary is, but we're not. Because, like, this is what's so frustrating about it. Like, look, it's not a secret. You know, I make good money, okay? So when I'm chirping about this shit, I'm chirping for everybody else because I can still recall a time when I certainly wasn't making good money, okay? I know what it's like when you leave your job and you have to do a COBRA payment, okay, where your healthcare costs skyrockets, and that's the only Band-Aid solution that this government has ever offered to people. Oh, you can still stay on your corporate healthcare. You just have to pay for it now. It's like, okay, but what do I do if I don't have additional income? Like, luckily I did. It's so crazy to me that is the solution in this country, okay? But I don't understand how these guys act as though they're like, that they can't even see the consequences of the shit. Like, with the Republicans, I get it. It's their job. They're demons. But if you're in the media, do you not have a single person in your immediate family that is going to get over by this? No. The beauty of social reproduction is that the upper class gets to mingle with the upper class, a vicious circle jerk, if you will. They're not like, bro, they're not like oligarchs, though. Not every single one of these people are oligarchs, right? Like, they're not all oil barons. Hey, Hasan, were you in France yesterday? Yes. And I'm in France today as well. I don't know. I mean, I guess it is their job. Their job is to reproduce these results. Their job is to literally defend the system. And the better they defend it, the better their salaries get, the better their class position gets, the more they feel like they're doing the bidding of their corporate oligarch masters.
Is any negotiation going on right now on Capitol Hill?
There's no negotiation right now because the Democrats have dug in. You say I'm blaming the Democrats. I mean, these are objective facts. We passed in the House more than 2 weeks ago a clean continuing resolution. There's no partisan pills in this. There's no Republican priorities. It's just an extension of current funding, Tony, so that we can keep the government open until November 21st to allow the appropriators in both parties to continue their good work. They've been working very hard in a bipartisan fashion to move the 12 appropriations bills. We just ran out of time because the end of the fiscal year is September 30th. We're asking, wait a minute, this is very important. All we're asking is that Senate Democrats do what they have always done in the past, every single time, and allow the additional clock. That's it.
Mr. Speaker, they clearly think they have leverage right now, which is why they're doing this. There's also things that the Trump administration and Republicans think they can get in a shutdown. One thing is shrinking the size of government, some layoffs. I know you think government's too big. I know you think it does too much and does too much of it poorly. You know about the layoffs that are planned. You've got word of them. What departments, how many people?
I don't know. I don't know those details yet. We did have a a long conference call yesterday with Russ Vought, who directs the Office of Management and Budget. But what was communicated to us is that they are trying to mitigate the damage. The president and Republicans in Congress do not want a government shutdown. We are bending over backwards to prevent it because real people get hurt. The Senate Democrats, 44 of them, have now voted 3 times to shut the government down. And here's what's going to happen, Tony. Real Americans are going to suffer from this. You have veterans benefits, food nutrition programs for women, infants, and children that are being stalled. You have health services that will not be provided. We have troops, TSA agents, and Border Patrol agents now going to work without pay. There's real damage. FEMA services are being...
You know what's really funny about a Republican saying this? They've been doing that. Like every time you cut funding to any federal government initiative, you are doing that. Okay? And not only were they doing that, they were doing that like for months. That was like the first 3 months of this admin. Fucking stick it to the federal workers. Suck my dick. Doge. Let's bring the most autistic billionaire on the planet to come into the White House and be like, comedy is legal now. Guess what? Do you work for the National Weather Service? You are trans. You are getting fired. Ha ha. Like that's what these did for straight up the first like 4 or 5 months, dude. Like, and now he's like, it's really devastating. It's really devastating for the TSA, which we recently made it so that it's illegal for them to strike. USA. Did your house get flooded? USA. Don't be woke. And now he's like, it's devastating that the government is shut down. And therefore, we can't pay these federal regulators that we want to fire anyway. Now, the reality is, of course, they can't fire them. They need them. Like some shit needs to run. You know what I mean? If billionaires want to continue living somewhere with all of their endless wealth, and that somewhere happens to be the United States of America, like, yeah, they need to keep shit intact. But they're so goddamn horny for super profits that they are just ripping apart everything. Oh, here, this is also Michael Penis caught on candid camera over here talking about how unwell Trump is, apparently.
The president is unhinged. He is unwell. What are you doing?
Folks on your side are too. I don't control.
Oh my God, please. That performance in front of the generals, that
I didn't see it.
is so dangerous. You know I serve on foreign affairs and appropriations. This is a collision of those two things. Our allies are looking elsewhere. Our enemies are laughing.
I just left
You
the
have a
speaker's
president
side.
who is, you have a president who is unwell.
Dude, what are we doing? What are we doing? He's bad on every part of the job. Like, there is not a single redeeming quality of Donald Trump. Like, he's funny, that's it. But I'm talking like as a part of the administrative apparatus, there is not a single redeeming factor for Donald Trump. He's bad on every single thing. He's silly. He's narcissistic. Hasan Abi, you low IQ trash, still not in prison, ? You got to respect how great of a businessman he is. I mean, yeah, he's just the American public. The only good thing he did is that he stopped USAID. No more CIA stuff from there. No, but you're wrong. It doesn't even... No. USAID is not stopped entirely. It just went back into the hands of the CIA directly. So there's no more soft power initiatives, only hard power. So they're still doing they're just doing it at the directive of the CIA, and they're no longer doing the marginal good things that they were doing in an effort to garner good favor all around the world that made a lot of the destabilizing initiatives easier to conduct. Like, that was a part of the bargain. Like, America gets to be the world police. But also America like gives back a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's not like they took away it's not like they stopped America's interest in destabilizing other countries. They're still doing that. They're just doing that directly under the CIA instead of under the State Department by way of USAID. And there's no more subtext. It's all text. There's no more soft power. It's all hard power. Also, a component of U.S. aid that was very destabilizing for the countries that they actually sent this aid to, because a country that gets aid or a country that relies on aid doesn't invest in its own agricultural development and is incapable of developing sovereignty, incapable of being independent. And now it's double because those countries did not actually develop their agricultural output evenly because they were relying on grain and other sorts of things coming from the United States of America by way of U.S. aid. And that was a massive subsidy to the farmers. That's a big part of the output for American farmers, too. They were just selling to U.S. aid. So now American farmers are people in Somalia are because they don't get the free grain that they were used to getting, and they never actually developed their own agricultural output in the process. So everybody's yeah, it's not that they failed to develop. The aid destroyed their agricultural sectors. Yes, that was the purpose. And that's not the only thing that U.S. aid does, obviously, but that's just one component that's like at least in between, where it looks like it's actually a good thing, but in fact, it's done for a very indecent purpose, and it's done in a way that actually ends up in the long run harming countries' attempts at sovereignty. Having said that, this is precisely why that was always a dangerous bargain, because one day they just cut it, and then you're cooked. The aid is above all a means of subsidizing the purchase of American grain to make these states client states thanks to the game of unfair competition and corrupt powers which crush local production. Yeah. Soybean farmers are double oh yeah, because China just said no more soy. Stack the soybean crop no longer being sold to China. On top of that, the farmers are double no, farmers are quadruple and it's really funny in some ways because farmers are, at least the way we understand it, like farmers are no longer like the farm hands. You know what I mean? And I guess some could even say that they never really were. Not to get too deep into it, but they're owners, right? They're capital owners in many respects. And therefore, due to their class position, they vote for the reactionary party. They're like, of course I'm going to vote for the deregulatory party. Of course I'm going to vote for the tax breaks for the wealthy party. I'm a capital owner, right? I'm a property owner. I'm a capital owner. I'm the master here, right? And what's interesting about it is, even though they get in the long run, and they have gotten already by Trump before in an identical fashion, they still vote for the Republican Party. They still vote for the Republican Party. They know at least they'll get a bailout or something, but it doesn't even matter. It's not even a leopards eat my face party at that point. It's like leopards ate my face last time and I liked it party, okay? I'm waiting for the leopard to eat my face again, and this time maybe my ass too party. It's crazy. Trump is proletarianizing the peasant class. Trust the process. Yeah, that's what he's doing. Yeah, there's a $50 billion bailout. Scoop. Hill, Republican estimates Trump will need to send as much as $50 billion to the farmers hit by tariffs. Trump admin plans to roll out billions for USDA, but Treasury officials and others are eyeing ways to tap tariff revenue without a fight in Congress. It's just crazy because, like, who is this for? Who is this for? Like, why are we doing any of this shit? Like, at the end of the day, is it worth it that we have data centers all around the country so we can make, like, the dumbest AI videos of all time? Is that what this is for? Because, like, what kind of industry are we pumping in this country? What kind of industrial base have we developed leading up to Donald Trump and certainly after Donald Trump? Like, what will we have? What kind of trade are we protecting? Do we have good paying jobs now? Is that what happened? Because we don't. It's all everything sucks. We make nothing. Not to get all Stephen Miller here, but we make nothing. We build nothing. We are nothing. It's just slop and a bunch of con men.